He was accused in 2017 of the sexual assault of a woman in a hotel. And even his mother is pretty unimpressed with him. She wrote an email to him in 2018 when he was going through his second divorce, saying that he's an abuser of women and he needs to sort his life out. So we've got a lot of senators, Republican senators even, on the Hill saying we're not quite sure this guy is the right guy to run one of the most important departments in the US.
Now, every Thursday we head to the US to find out what's happening in Washington. And I'm joined as ever by Alistair Dawber, the Washington correspondent of The Times and The Sunday Times. Hello, Alistair.
Hi, Hugo. Morning.
Good morning. Thanks very much for being with us. Look, Donald Trump's pick for US Defense Secretary insists he's not backing down despite reports that he could be replaced. The president-elect had wanted the TV presenter Pete Hegseth in the position in the Pentagon, but there are concerns that he might not get through the Senate vote because of claims around his personal life. Well, he's told reporters he's not going anywhere. Listen.
That's what Donald Trump asked me to do. Your job is to bring a warfighting ethos back to the Pentagon. Your job is to make sure that it's lethality, lethality, lethality. Everything else is gone. Everything else that distracts from that shouldn't be happening.
Alistair, we've heard a bit about this guy. Who is he?
Pete Hegseth is a 44-year-old former major in the US National Guard. He served in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he's also a former Fox News presenter as well. And completely out of the blue, completely unexpectedly, Donald Trump nominated him 2 or 3 weeks ago to be his pick to run the Pentagon, the 1.3 million people, both military and civilian, that make up the DoD, the Department of Defense staff. Now, as with most nominations that the president makes for the top jobs, and the defense secretary is one of the top jobs in the US cabinet, the Senate is required to confirm the nomination. They have a hearing where he'll sit down and be grilled about his experience and about his plans, and there'll be a vote. And if the vote goes in his favour, then he's confirming the job. The problem for Pete Hegseth is that not a lot of people think he's particularly well qualified. He's never really run an organisation. And then, as you suggested there are particular claims about his personal life. He was accused in 2017 of the sexual assault of a woman in a hotel. And even his mother is pretty unimpressed with him. She wrote an email to him in 2018 when he was going through his second divorce, saying that he's an abuser of women and he needs to sort his life out. So we've got a lot of senators, Republican senators even, on the Hill saying we're not quite sure this guy is the right guy to run one of the most important departments in the US.
And look, if this goes through, it's a major coup for Donald Trump. If it doesn't, it's a major blow. I mean, what are you expecting?
Well, it's looking increasingly unlikely that he's going to survive. We've got quite a few Republican senators now on the record questioning Hegseth's record, questioning whether or not he's the appropriate choice, and really questioning whether or not Donald Trump really wants to spend as the political capital he'll need to get him confirmed. I mean, we heard the quote there from Pete Hegseth saying that he would do what Donald Trump wants him to do. I think tellingly, we haven't heard from Donald Trump in the last few days. He hasn't tweeted or gone onto his other social media platforms to offer any sort of support as Pete Hegseth gets into more trouble in the Senate. So I think the sort of the writing might be on the wall over the next few days. I think he might be forced to step down. And that would mean, we think, that Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, might be nominated in his place, which would be a complete reversal for him. He and Trump fell out really quite bitterly during the Republican presidential primaries, where they were both candidates, but they seem to have kissed and made up now.
I mean, Trump's appointments seem like a bit of a rolling sort of farce. I said Trump's farce, I guess I meant Trump's farces, but they do seem like a bit of a rolling farce, because I mean, there seem to be all kinds of names he suggested that aren't going to go anywhere, and it leaves him looking a bit weak, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, he's already lost Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, another ally from Florida, who he'd been chosen as his attorney general. Again, it would have needed confirmation in the Senate. Matt Gaetz, at the same time, and like Pete Hegseth denies these allegations, has been accused of having sex with a minor, paying women for sleeping with him. And it was pretty clear from the outset that Matt Gaetz really would struggle to get his nomination across the line. It is embarrassing for Trump. I mean, he moved pretty quickly to replace Gaetz, and he's picked someone now, the former Attorney General of Florida, again another Florida name, who will be his Attorney General nationally. It is embarrassing, but I think Trump is almost testing the Senate. You know, I'm in charge. I've won the general election. I've come back. Defy me if you dare.
Yeah, well, maybe they do. Look, finally, Alistair, how is Donald Trump using Joe Biden's pardon of his son Hunter? Apparently he's exploiting it to argue that one of his own convictions should be dismissed, right?
That's right. So Donald Trump was convicted in May of falsifying business records in a New York court. This is related to the payments made to Stormy Daniels, the porn star, to keep quiet about their relationship, their sexual relationship. Donald Trump is using Joe Biden's pardon of Hunter Biden at the weekend, his son, to say, look, Joe Biden argued that case was a farce and was politically motivated. Clearly, so was this, and that the conviction should be overturned. Now, in Donald Trump's case and in Hunter Biden's case, a jury convicted them both. But it does look again as though the judge, what we've heard from the judge so far, what we've heard from the prosecutors, it does look as though this case is heading towards being quashed.
And if anything, the president has led by example, right, over the last week now, on making sure that we have this cordial transition of power.
President-elect Trump's nominee for defense secretary has questioned whether or not women should serve in combat roles in the military. Wondering what the administration makes of that. Is there any concern about women's ability to serve in certain roles going forward?
I think we've made ourselves really clear. I'm not going to speak to this pick. That's not the president's going. The president-elect is going to lay out his certainly his personnel and who he wants to fill these cabinet position, who he wants to be in the White House with him, and we will give them the space to do that. But I think we've been very clear about how we see the importance of gender equality, the importance of women in the workforce. I think we have been an administration that has led on that issue, and certainly we do not agree with those views, but that is for obviously the president to speak to his picks, and I'm going to let them do that.
Everybody had great meetings in the Senate today. Had a chance to talk to Leader Thune. Our founders are brilliant in this process of advising consent. It's been edifying and a wonderful process to go through and meet with senators and talk to them, especially members of the Senate Armed Services Committee, whose passion is the Defense Department, and our warfighters, to hear what they want to do to make sure that department is properly oriented for the threats of the world and make sure that we're putting the warfighters first. That's what Donald Trump asked me to do. Your job is to bring a warfighting ethos back to the Pentagon. Your job is to make sure that it's lethality, lethality, lethality. Everything else is gone. Everything else that distracts from that shouldn't be happening. That's the message I'm hearing from senators in that advise and consent process. It's been a wonderful process. As far as everything else, I had a chance to sit down with Megyn Kelly today for an hour. I refer you to that interview. She asked probably all the questions you guys would like to ask.